Hi everyone, and welcome to another tutorial. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make this Linnea bracelet, and this was designed by Eva on Instagram. I'll have her name in the description box below, and I'll bring her Instagram profile up here in just a second. First I want to show you the design. This is a pretty wide bracelet. I think it's maybe the widest one I've done yet. I'm not sure, but I really like the design. It's also really neat and tight, and it just really sits nicely. So yeah, anyway, let me bring up her profile. So it's spelled like this, Eva. Like I said, I'll have her name in the description box below, but for now, we can look at her photos. And if you do have an Instagram, make sure to check out her account, like her photos, and give her a follow for me. And we'll go ahead and get started. So the first thing you're going to want to need, or you're going to want to grab, is a hook. You really only need one side of a crochet hook. You don't need both sides. You're also going to want a single chain before we start, so I've already made my little section. I'll make sure to make yourself a single chain. And you're also going to want a C-clip, obviously, and some colors. So for the olive green in this bracelet, I'll be using neon green, so here and here. Then for the burgundy, I'll be using black. And for the caramel, I'll be using white. So let's go ahead and get started. Take your single chain. And I'm only going to show you one side. By the way, I don't think my voice has enough juice in it to talk through both sides, so I'm only going to show you one half. But anyway, you're going to take your single chain, line it up so that the cap band is basically a line facing you, not an O, but like a line. Stick your hook through the side and grab one of those cap band loops and pull it out. Maybe it would help if my cap band would sit correctly. Once you pull that out, go ahead and take one of your black bands and just simply pull it through the cap band, or that single cap band loop. Then you're going to go up into the next chain. You're going to grab that closest band and pull it out through the side. Pull a black band through everything. Go up, grab this band here, kind of wiggle it out. Take a black band, and pull it through everything, and just continue this all the way up. When you get all the way up, you're going to stop right before the last band, which is in the C-clip. Instead, you'll put both of those loops on your hook and take off this clip. And if your band's rearranged like this, that's fine. It doesn't really make a difference. But once you do that, go ahead and take one of your black bands and just kind of pull it through those 4 loops. And then once you loop up the other side, you'll also put the other 2 black loops into this band as well. So you might want to kind of pause the video so you can go do the other side and obviously finish this side as well. But next we're going to be doing the first caramel zigzag border here. So first you're going to take your hook and you're going to want to grab this cap band loop again, so pull it out through the black band. Take 2 white bands and loop both of them on just like a single chain. Then you're going to go up to this next part, you're going to go through this black band, and you're going to grab both of those loops in there. Make sure you do actually grab both of them. And if they get twisted, this is really only going to happen on the first one, but if they get twisted, you make sure to rearrange them. Take 2 more white bands. This first white band will go through those 2 black loops only, and the second white band will go through those first 2 white loops only. So you're pretty much going to have the start of 2 single chains on your hook, and you're going to hold this first chain and push the second chain over the end of the hook, like so. Then you'll go up into the next part, again grabbing both of those black bands and pulling them out. Take 2 white bands, loop them on like a single chain, and then hold on to this first one and push the second one over. Go up to the next part, grab both of those loops and pull them out through the side, take 2 white bands, loop the first one through those black loops and the second one through the first 2 white loops, and then just push that band over. And I find it easier to, when you're pushing these bands over, make sure you push it down below this first single chain band. Otherwise it kind of gets caught and it looks weird, so I don't know, I just want to make sure that I do it right. So what I mean is I push it over, and then if you push it over you can leave it there, but I like to make sure that it's below this first chain, just so that it's neater and I can actually tell what bands I'm supposed to be grabbing for the next part. But anyway, you're going to do this all the way up to the top. And then once you reach the top, you're not going to grab these bands inside of the C-clipped band, like these 2 black bands, you're just going to leave them. But you're actually going to take this black band out of the C-clip and push those 2 remaining white bands in and close it back up. And again, when you do the other side, you'll just loop those white bands into the black band here, just like I did on this side. So now, also, if you're doing one side at a time, the cap band is going to look like this until you do the other side, so don't worry about it. But now what we're going to do is the next part, which is a little bit different. It's this green stuff, these green bands. You're going to go into the side here, and you're going to pull out both of these white loops, and they should be kind of the horizontal bands. So there's the bands that go to the inside and the bands that come to the outside. You're going to want to grab the bands that go to the outside, and then you're going to take a green band, loop it through, and take another green band and loop it through again, so just like a single chain. Then when you go up to the next one, you'll grab both of these white loops. Gosh, there's like a glare. You're going to grab both of those white loops, make sure to pull them out through the middle of that other white band. Then you'll take 1 green band, pull it through those first 3 loops, so those 2 whites and the first green, lift that first green back up onto your hook, flip the green band over the end that you're holding, and then reattach that other side. Then you'll take your second green band and pull it through all 3 loops and just close. So then you'll go up into the next one. Again, make sure you grab both of those loops and pull them out through the middle. You're going to grab 2 green bands. The first one will go through these 2 white loops and the first green. You'll lift that green back up and take this one that you're holding and the one that's still open, and you'll flip it over, reattach that band or that part you were holding and close, and then take 1 more band and pull it through all 3 loops. So you're going to go up to the next part and just continue to do this all the way down until you reach the end of the bracelet. So make sure to pull it through 3, flip, and then through all 3. And then just continue like that. So once you reach the top, you're not going to grab this white band because, again, these white bands that go to the inside we're not going to touch. You're going to put both of those black loops that are C-clipped onto the hook, and then again take that C-clip off, pull a green band through those 4 loops, and then when you loop up the other side, you'll put the other 2 green bands into this green loop as well. Reclip. Oops. So now we're getting there. We still have 2 more rows on this side to go. So now what you're going to do is go up to this this first green band that's kind of horizontal. You're going to put your hook through there and pull out both of those loops. Again, make sure you pull out both of them and not just one. Now we're going to take another more black bands, and you're going to loop on 2 bands in a single chain. And we're basically doing the same thing that we did with these white bands, but it's a little bit different because you're grabbing, I guess, these different types of bands. I don't know. You're going to go through the side, and you're going to grab both of these loops and pull them out. Take 2 more black bands Again, just do the single chain through those first 2 green and then only through the first 2 black. So you basically have the start of 2 single chains on your hook. Then you'll flip the second over the first and over the end of the hook. And I'll push them down. And then go up into the next part. Pull those next 2 loops out. You're not going to grab any of these other bands, these other green bands, just those 2 that kind of make a single chain on the outside. And then you're going to loop 2 bands through like a single chain, flip those over, kind of like a slip knot, but it's not really a slip knot because they're different bands, but that's, I guess, kind of the best way I can describe it. You'll just pull the second over the first and over the end of the hook. Make sure you are going in between those 2 loops so you're not going through the back or the outside or something. Okay, once you reach the top, you'll go ahead and take this green band out of the C-clip and loop these 2 black bands into the green band and close. Again, same thing on the other side when you make when you do the black set on the other side. And then we'll do the last border, which is the white bands. So now you're going to grab these black bands on the side, these horizontal ones that are kind of sticking out. Just stick your hook through and grab them both. And then grab your white bands. You're going to loop 2 of these on like a single chain, but this is just for the start. Then you'll go up into the next chain. Just like we did with the white bands before, we're going to grab those 2 horizontal bands. Take 2 white bands, your first one, we'll go through those 2 black loops in the first white, lift the white back up, flip it over, and reattach. So it's the same thing that we did with the green, we're just doing it with a different color now. You'll pull a band through all 3, go up into the next chain, grab both of those black bands, pull a white through the first 3, lift, flip, and close, and then pull a band through all 3. So the reason I'm going a little bit faster on this part is because hopefully you have the gist of it by now, because you pretty much did it up the entire other green part on both sides. So it shouldn't be too difficult. Almost to the top of my little section here, so I'll show you how to close it off. Okay, so once you reach the top, again, you're not going to touch any of these black bands that are going into the center because that's just not the bands we're grabbing the ones that go to the outside. So once you do that, go ahead and put both of these green loops on your hook. You're not going to open it up again, you're just going to put both of those on the hook. Take off the C-clip, put a white band through those 4 loops, and then it'll be 6 when you do the white on the other side. Clip. And that's what it should look like. So obviously mine looks a little bit weird because it's shorter and because I only did one side. But once you finish the bracelet, this is what it's going to look like. It's pretty tight, but it's not so tight that it's going to shrink your bracelet or hurt your wrist if you keep it on too long. So yeah, it's a bit of a longer video, but anyway, that is going to do it for this video. So thank you for watching. If you liked it, make sure to give a thumbs up and subscribe. I will have Hammerberg Eva's name in the description box below. Make sure to check her out on Instagram, give her a follow for me. But for now, that is going to do it for this video, and I hope to see you next time.